What's up, everyone? This is your boy Dance the King back again with another video. And as you can see in the title, this is part 2 of the Jordan Peterson of a review of the 12 Rules for Life written by Jordan Peterson. And we're going to compare the rules to Bible verses and see if they make any sense once we do a comparison. So the book 12 Rules of Life, personally, I haven't read the book. But I did research a few things on the 12 rules, and I decided that I was going to do a 4-part series breaking down all the 12 rules and Bible verses that support them. If you check out part 1, I did rules 1, 2, and 3. This one we're going to do rules 4, 5, and 6, and it should be great. It should be good. We really would love your feedback. If you leave a comment below what you think about this, if you watch all the way to the end. If you do like it, please let me know your thoughts. Give me a like, consider subscribing, and check out my other videos in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so let's get into it. Let's go into rule number 4. Rule number 4. And rule number 4 is this: compare yourself with who you were yesterday, not with who someone else is today. I'm going to read that one more time. Compare yourself with who you were yesterday and not with who someone else is today. So let's talk about it. This rule encourages individuals to focus on their own personal growth and progress rather than constantly comparing themselves to others and feeling inadequate. The idea aligns with the philosophical concept of self-improvement, which emphasizes the importance of taking responsibility for one's growth and development. By focusing on oneself and one's own progress rather than constantly measuring oneself against others, individuals can work towards becoming the best version of themselves. And that's really important. You're never going, your life is your life. And if you are constantly comparing yourself to others' wealth, their situation from the outside, man, you're never going to be like that person. You're never going to have it exactly like that person. And that's a good thing. You don't know the person that you are, let's just say, not jealous of, but the person that you are admiring, the person you're like, oh man, it looks like they have it so well. They're married. They have children. They have good multiple sources of income, nice house, blah blah blah. They have all these things, but you don't know, man. On the inside of that could be so much. They could be going through so much. You know, the woman could be a drug addict. The man, you know, is an alcoholic out here running around or whatever. The children are neglected. Like, you don't know what's going on with that person just because they're, you know, maybe have a nice house, a car, job, whatever, doesn't mean that you want exactly what they have. Yeah, on the outside it looks good, but you don't know what's going on. So just focusing on yourself and not comparing yourself to other people is the best route. And it's definitely has worked for me throughout, you know, my whole maturing, because I would do that. I would always look at other people's success and try to compare it to mine. And that's not always good. I'm not saying that you don't want to have goals to reach to, you know, to somewhere to attempt to get, you know, if you see someone and they have, you know, what you're trying to get and you're trying to use that as like a target to reach, you know, I don't think, in the right way, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But constantly comparing yourself with other individuals, you know, comparing your age, comparing your wealth, your situation, it's not going to help you. If anything, it's definitely going to make it worse for you. Because I know, because it made it worse for me. But as soon as you start to shift your thinking into, you know, into yourself and making yourself better mentally, physically, emotionally, all that, then that's when things start to change for you, I think. Maybe not eventually, like off the bat, but the more you start to shift your way of thinking and better things get. A couple of Bible verses that I thought went well with this is Matthew chapter 7 verse 3, which says that why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? So this is Jesus talking about, being hypocritical in judgment. When you have a whole lot of stuff going on with you, don't try to tell someone else about what they got going on when your whole house is messed, when your own house isn't together. But I think, like, when we're talking about it to, comparing it to rule number 4, it all comes back around to me is focusing on yourself still. Focus on what you got going on. Fix what you got going on, and then you can help, someone else. And before you compare yourself to someone else, make sure that that you are doing all right on your own, instead of worrying about what someone else got going on and then doing all this contrasting with each other. Because, like I said, every situation ain't the same. Your life isn't going to be like their life, and it's not going to be the same way. So why spend too much time doing that? And yeah, Matthew chapter 7 verse 3, like what I just read, that verse encourages individuals to focus on their own shortcomings and work on improving themselves rather than constantly pointing out the faults of others. That's what that verse means. It's about judgment. But like I said, I believe it can also be viewed as working on yourself and getting the kinks out your own armor, before you compare yourself to someone else. Another verse I thought went well was in Galatians chapter 6 verse 4. But let each one test his own work, and then his reason to boast will be in himself alone and not in his neighbor. So yeah, this emphasizes the importance of the individual responsibility and self-evaluation rather than comparing oneself to others. So just, yeah, man, I've been saying it over and over again. Focus on yourself is the best option, not relying on the comparison of other people. So in summary of all that, the Jordan Peterson's rule number 4 encourages individuals to focus on their own personal growth and process rather than constantly comparing themselves to others and feeling inadequate. So this idea supports the Bible verses that I just provided, and it just promotes you to have better self-responsibility, what I believe. So and in the end, I believe that rule really coincides with some biblical principles as well. So good rule. Let's move on to rule number 5. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one because I don't have any children at the moment. I do want kids one day. Hopefully one day I'll have a few of them with a wife, of course. But rule number 5 states that do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. So this rule encourages parents, I believe, to set clear boundaries and standards for their children, to take responsibility for their children's behavior and development. And it also suggests that parents should not let their children's behavior negatively impact their opinion on them as a person. I believe that as well. Like I said, I don't have any children, so I don't know about necessarily raising kids, but I have observed, little babies, and I have observed, children and even teenagers, exhibit behavior that that kind of reflects, how they're raised, how we raise little ones and children. It impacts everything about them, especially at a young age, and it's just real. It's just really, really real. I have a problem. I don't want to make this a whole, political thing, but children are children, and it's obvious that they need assistance. They need physical assistance, mental assistance, spiritual assistance. They need to be taught things. They don't know things about themselves. They don't know things about the world. a lot of them are just completely underdeveloped in every area. You know, they're babies, they're children. They have to be nurtured and fed. Okay, so to leave it in a child's hands to decide, you know, their sex preference, you know, at a young age, younger than 18, and to leave it up to that young child to make that decision, is just so irresponsible, in my opinion, for people who actually go for that, because these are children, man. They don't know about themselves, man. They don't know about their bodies. They barely really know how to communicate how they're feeling to their own parents. So how are they really going to know that they believe that they are this, you know, gender or sex or whatever? So the whole point is, what I'm trying to make is that, you know, we have to raise children as parents. And I'm not a parent, and I'm not trying to tell people how to raise their kids, but to me, this seems like a common sense type of thing. We have to raise our children in the way they should go, you know, and every decision should not be, as a parent, you should not let every decision just be for the child at a certain age. You know, they have to grow. Now, once they get a certain age, you know, they're grown, you know, let them do what they do. But, you know, there's certain ways to do things. All right. So just back to this rule: do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. The closest Bible verse was the one I just said, was the Proverbs 22, verse 6, which is to train up the child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. This verse emphasizes the importance of parents guiding and training their children the right way in order to ensure that they will continue to make good choices as they grow older. So there's a stage when they're adolescents, they need help, they need assistance, they need to be taught things, they need to be shown things. And you teach them in a right, structured way, and over time, it at least increases the chances of them staying on a good, straight path that they were nurtured from by their parents. Let's see, another verse, Colossians chapter 3, verse 21. Fathers, do not exasperate your children so that they will not lose heart. So my father, he passed away a few years ago, and I love my father. I'm not trying to put this as a knock on him, but he did have, I guess, anger issues, and sometimes, you know, he would get mad at the smallest things. You know, he'll get really angry about that, and I will in turn get angry back at him for being mad at me for what I believe was for no reason to be mad at for. And I didn't like how that felt as a child, and that may or may not had an impact on me now. I sort of have a short temper now, and it may have something to do with how my father would have a short temper around me, you know. So just being careful, and this doesn't necessarily have to apply with just children. I think how you act around people can rub off on people just in general, depending on how you act. If you act like a jerk, that energy can rub off on someone else, you know. And if that person is, you know, if that person is your child, then that energy is going to be rubbing off on them, you know, for years and years and years and years, until it's really embedded in that child as an adult. So I believe that, you know, I believe that the rule is stating, and the Bible verses, is that we have to be mindful how we behave around children, what we are revealing to children about ourselves. That's not good. And, you know, just be conscious of, you know, because children listen, they're watching, they're smart. Kids are really, really smart. Doesn't mean they're mature, but they're really, really smart, and they really, really pay attention to things. So just as parents and just as respectable adults should watch what we do around kids, because if we see it as not a good thing with our equal peers, then what are we doing it around our kids? So yeah, that's my thoughts on rule number 5. Let's go to the final rule number 6. Okay, everyone, rule number 6, the last rule for part 2 of the video today. And that rule is set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. This is kind of just like the other rule, but we'll talk about it still. This rule encourages individuals to take responsibility for their own lives, as we already know we should, and to work on improving themselves and their personal circumstances before trying to change or criticize the world around them. Just like we already talked about. Work on yourself first before you try to go out there and compare yourself to other people or even judge someone else. This idea aligns with the philosophical concept of personal responsibility and the idea that individuals have power to shape their own lives and their circumstances. Let's talk about a Bible verse that goes with that. Looks like I broke down the same verse, Matthew 7, verse 3. Why do you see the speck in your eye and not worry about the speck in your brother's eye? It's just such a deep thing. That's such a deep thing, and I believe it's worth talking about it again. Because people have a whole lot going on with their own lives, secret lives that they don't want anyone else to know about. Debt, whatever other issues, mental issues, physical issues, all this stuff going on in their lives, but they will be the same ones to want to tell you about, how you should live your life, what you should do, what you should not do. When they don't even have everything, but they don't have hardly anything straight in their lives, they still want to tell you what to do with your life, So this is such a simple rule and a simple Bible verse to understand, but it's rarely practiced. It's people are just hypocritical when it comes to that. Even me, man. We all done it. We all are hypocrites in one way or fashion. We try not to be, but we all are hypocrites. And if we're being honest, we all made judgments. We all do make judgments, but we all have made hypocritical judgments on others when the same thing applies to ourselves. We've done that consciously and subconsciously. We've done both. And we have to own up to that and admit that we've done that. And it's not good that we do. We're humans. We are not infallible. But this is something that I believe that we can consciously work on. We can consciously work on straightening ourselves up, doing the right thing, building up ourselves, making ourselves better. And in turn, we can decrease the level of hypocrisy within ourselves, which at least that's what I believe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Another verse I found was James chapter 1, verse 22. Be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. So yeah, put your beliefs in action. Put your beliefs in action and work towards improving yourself. You believe something, do it. If I'm telling you to do something and I'm not doing it, I'm hypocritical. We just talked about being a hypocrite. But if you're doing something, if I'm telling you to do something like exercise, train, read, study, all this, and I'm not doing it, then I'm being a hypocrite. I'm not taking care of myself like I should. I'm not doing anything like I should be doing. I'm just being a delusional hypocrite. So be doers of the word. Be doers of your word. You say you're going to do something, do it. You say you're going to do something, do it, and do it well. We talked about in the last video about what goes around comes around. You do well, that wellness will come back around. And it's not Jordan Peterson talked about this before in another video. It's not necessarily guaranteed, but I believe it sort of is, as far as, I mean, it's just cause and effect, you know, just cause and effect. Do good, do what you said you're going to do, and things will definitely work out better for you, which is what I believe. So yeah, that is the end of part 2 of Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, and Bible verses and how the Bible verses support them. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. Did you agree with anything I said? Did you disagree? Please comment below and let me know what you think. If you did like it, please give me a like. Consider subscribing. Follow me on Instagram. I'm on there more than any other app, and you can see what goes on a little bit in my day-to-day actions. Let's see, friend me on Facebook. If you want to donate to the channel, I got some donation links below as well. And part 3 coming up soon. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. God bless you all. Peace.